Bull or bear? I'm rolling an 1878 Morgan silver dollar, and for you coin nerds, don't ask me if it's a 7 or 8 tail feather or 7/8. I do know the difference though. And she comes up a bear. Let's see what happens in tonight's opening markets. Good morning, and a rainy morning for us here in South Florida, and it looks like it's probably going to even get worse with the forecast that we're looking at. Man, it's not like some of us Floridians haven't been hit once already. We're getting hit twice, and I feel for the people in the northern Florida area that have been hit with the flooding and everything that's been going on for the last week plus. We got a rainy day here. This is the live Deerfield beach cam, usually flooded with people playing volleyball, all kinds of cool stuff out there, but not today. Might be a little bit surf out there too, not too much wind. I'll have to check it out in the morning. All right, well, let's get into what we're going to talk about. And, speaking of, let's just talk about the storm here because that is the big news here. There you go. I'll show you where I'm at right here. I'm down here on the edge, just north of Miami. We're on the outside of it, but, all she has to do is jog a little bit south here. And, we're kind of like in that dirty zone right here. And I've seen some hurricanes. Particularly, I've been in my business here in this building during a hurricane, and I think a category 2. And I don't think if you've never seen large plate glass bubble, and I don't know if you can imagine that, then don't try this at home, folks. Anyways, I'm prepared. A lot of folks are prepared. I got to go out and get the generator filled up just in case she does turn south. We lose some power. If you don't hear from me next week, you'll know why. Meanwhile, I feel for all the people that have gone through that storm that went up to Atlanta. It's kind of weird, too, because I was vacationing in this area the last couple of years, right through here, as you guys, most of you know that have been watching my videos. Man, they got hit hard. Not in a place where you'd really think they'd get hit hard, but they did. Well, let's see what happens with this storm right here. It is categorized as a hurricane, going to be a hurricane, and maybe a major hurricane before it hits. Be prepared. That's it. I learned in Cub Scouts, I think it was, or was it Boy Scouts, one or the other. Let's get into spot prices here while I can. And these are Friday's closes. 2,653. Take a look at that range. 2,000, basically 670 to $2,632. So that's a nice little range there. Same thing with silver, man. 32.94, almost touching that $33 mark, and 31.54. Silver's on a run, folks. I mean, it's kind of pretty obvious. If I haven't sounded too excited about it and been making a bunch of videos about it, because I'm not really too excited, I've told you this before, it was never a question of if it happened, it's a matter of when it's happening. And I kind of think we might be in those moments right now, but never underestimate the power of these big commercials out there that can take a tiny market like silver and slam it, paper slam it down. Remember, silver is, as we always talk about, a real product or a real it's a metal. I mean, it's a tangible product that is used in real world uses on a daily basis, as we talked about. Probably next to oil, the second most used commodity that we have would be silver because of electronics and all these other things. But again, we've done videos about that. Many of you guys are familiar with that. So silver, I think that's kind of what we're seeing, is what Ted Butler said when the moment when the full pants down moment, or the when you wake up in the morning and you go, oh wow, take a look at the price of silver. But we need to blow through that $35 level first. I think that is psychologically a resistance for a lot of people, because we were there, particularly newer buyers that have jumped in since 2020. $35 is a really important mark for a lot of those newer stackers and buyers out there. But remember, stackers and buyers of physical silver, gold coins, and bars, we are such a small segment out there that we don't really make markets or move markets at all. We just kind of follow them. But I digress. Platinum, poor unloved platinum, sub $1,000 still. Great time to buy it, I think, is when something is unloved like that. At some point, we're going to see. I haven't done the gold to platinum ratio, but wow, it's getting close to almost being a third of the price of gold. I mean, doesn't that make you feel platinum's super cheap? I don't know. Is platinum suffering the same thing that silver suffered for years, as being such a small market that it just takes a few big players to really move that market around. And again, not organically, not because people want platinum or selling a bunch of platinum or more platinum's coming on the ground. Again, just because they can in these big paper markets. Perhaps, and more than likely. But again, physical platinum just seems really cheap at these prices. All right, let me move into, again, that's just crazy stuff out there, man. 2 storms in a row like this, kind of interesting. Let me not wrap my mind around that because I got a lot to think about that already. And what's going on in gata.org, by the way, free website that you can read, and they have a lot of cool stuff about gold and silver and different articles that are gold and silver related. Again, something you should have on your bookmark bar like I do up here. Let's see, what do they have on there? Kind of an interesting theme that we've been seeing. Russia to boost silver reserves and major precious metal strategy shift. I've heard this kind of bandied around on the X platform, the old Twitter platform, X platform. A lot of silver people and metals people talking about that. And of course, it makes sense for Russia to boost its silver reserves in many different ways. I have said for a couple years, in my opinion, and maybe people's opinion that are smarter than me, that silver is really truly a strategic metal. Is oil a strategic product? Is oil a strategic, tangible product? Yes, it is, all right? Definitely, most definitely, oil's a strategic product, okay? That's why they have strategic oil reserves. Wouldn't you think that a product that is used next to silver as much as platinum, or the second most used commodity out there, pretty much, rare commodity that is not easy, you can't just, it doesn't come out of thin air, silver. Don't you think that's a strategic metal, if you would think about it, a strategic product as well for any country? Just imagine all of a sudden that any country lacks silver to produce the electronics, to produce the solar, produce the batteries that they need for the country to kind of power forward. Even the oil industry. I mean, the silver and gold industry, I'm sure mining depend on oil, as well as the opposite way around. The mining industry depends on silver. How do you think these big giant vehicles are made? That these mining machines that are made, they have a lot of silver in their circuitry. This is where silver is a strategic metal, that it's used in electronics in such a large way that I don't think most people understand this. All right. Well, anyway, Russia recognizes that. I think China's recognized that for quite a while. What does America have in strategic reserves in silver? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't believe the Fed owns silver. I don't believe the central government owns, I don't believe our federal government owns silver in a way. I don't believe the Federal Reserve owns any kind of silver. I don't know. I think they were talking about buying some strategic stuff. I don't know. If you know more about it, put it in my comment section below. And what else is going on out there in gata.org world? Lots of stuff. Take a look at this. Russia's boosting its supply. Poland's central bank to keep acquiring more gold. They already claim they have more gold than the UK. That's pretty impressive if you think about it. Poor UK. Just a fraction of the global leader it once was. And, we know why. Well, it's called leftist, but Poland's central bank to keep acquiring gold already claims more than the UK. What is France secretly repatriated all its gold before Nixon's dollar change. Gold revaluation is underway in the BRICS nations. What is a common denominator in most of all this stuff right here? Well, the common denominator besides silver right here is all these central bankers, all these countries kind of going back to the gold standard. Even Poland, who's not a member of not a BRICS nation, repatriating and buying more gold. This is telling us that we are in serious. Greenspan said it once that gold was kind of, and it still is, I believe they believe that. Gold is the canary in a gold mine, or the canary in a coal mine, sorry. That, when the canary is not doing well, it's a good sign that the mine's not doing well. You got to get out of the mine. And that's kind of what's happening with the U.S. dollar right now. The U.S. dollar is getting worse and worse, and that's why you're seeing a strength in gold, more people moving to gold, especially the world was built on the U.S. dollar. That's what most everybody kept. That's what central banks kept. That's what everybody cherished the U.S. dollar, and somehow we managed to really screw that up badly. And when I say we, I mean that collectively, we, because it's we that have put some of these morons and idiots in power. It's we that still allow these people to continue to do this. We as a nation, we killed our dollar pretty much. Well, anyways, let me not go there because there's so many people you can listen to about the failure of the dollar besides me, and we already know this stuff. All right, again, the central theme here is countries wanting gold. And the interesting story about that is Russia understanding the value of silver, and I think China, again, does understand the value of silver as well as gold. All right, what are we going to get into next is kind of an interesting thing that this last week I was talking to, well, actually, we deal with a big major refiner out there, one of the largest refiners, and not one of, the largest refiner in the world out there. And they were telling us that there's going to be a delay in the refining of silver, and that they're going to raise the requirements on the amount of silver you got to send in to them. And again, there's going to be delays on when your silver will be refined and when you get paid for it, and all that other good stuff. And the interesting part of that is it kind of made me think, well, what's going on out there? I mean, silver is, you think that there's not a lot of scrap silver out there, and I'm telling you that from a first-hand experience of someone that buys scrap silver. All right, well, let me get into the company here first. And what's interesting is, I like this story. What is Massachusetts' largest export? And you probably know where I'm going right now. Well, Massachusetts' largest export is gold. And this is 2014. This is fairly old. I'm sure it's even more now. Gold as a share of total state exports is 7.2%. Not a lot, but if you think about it, even 2014, $2 billion a year, gold was Massachusetts' largest export. And it's not because Massachusetts has mines or a bunch of cash for gold places. People are cashing in their gold chains. No. Massachusetts has no commercial gold mining operations to speak of, and yet the state exported nearly $2 billion of the precious metals. Again, this is 2014, folks. I just found what I could on an article. Roughly, it's hard to find information on this, by the way, roughly double its next largest export. The reason the state ships so much gold abroad is that it happens to be one of the biggest importers of the metal, which is refined at Metalore Refinery in North Attleboro and shipped abroad. More than half of this refined gold goes to the United States Kingdom, and Switzerland and Hong Kong is a distant and third. The state has goes to the United Kingdom. Well, I'm not quite sure that's still happening after 2014. I'd have to question that as well. But the state has a relatively diverse economy, and while the gold leaving the state is worth a substantial sum, and it only represents 7.2%. Well, anyway, it just shows you how big Metalore is. And let's take a look at Metalore. Metalore is it's a company that's underlooked for the amount of metal that they move around the globe, and the amount of metal that they're responsible for that goes into, well, we'll get into that in a moment, but I don't think a lot of people realize how big and powerful this company is, and where a lot of this metal goes to. But global presence, as you can say, for Metalore is all over the world. I mean, you've got Mexico, you've got the West Coast, United States, Canada, obviously, Attleboro, Mass, there you go right there, down in Peru, obviously. And here's what I do know about these operations in Mexico and Peru. A lot of the Mexican and Peruvian mines are sending their silver, not gold, silver, up to Attleboro. I don't think they're doing any refining here, but they might be. I'm not quite sure. But Metalore is refining most of their metal for Mexico and Peruvian mines down here. So a lot of the mines are shipping their metal up to Metalore, and we'll get into what happens to it there. Obviously, they refine it. But you can see the reach and the power of Metalore. And kind of we'll go over here to the Middle East, and you'll see, not the Middle East, but and they're over there too. Look, Turkey, Greece, I think they're, maybe not now, but I mean, look, they're pretty much everywhere. It's a global company, a global presence, and they even say it right there. Their main branches in Switzerland. And why am I talking about them so much? Well, out of these millions and millions, and again, they're a major player out there, folks. I mean, I'm sure there are governments, I'm sure major corporations, major industry is getting their metal from this. And you're saying, well, where is that metal being exported? And man, that's a lot of gold and silver bars, Brian. What are you telling me that? A lot of 1 ounce rounds and silver eagles. No, 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 no. You want to hear something interesting? Here's the kicker, and here's something that I just learned recently. Metallore's company, and there's our they talk about themselves and how green they are. And again, remember, it's a Swiss company, corporate social responsibility, all that stuff. Yeah, I think they kind of, you know, anyway, they swallow that bait. But great company, big, huge company, and one of the largest players out there when it comes to precious metals. Now, what am I looking for here? Where is their products? I was just looking, products and services. This is kind of what I wanted to show you. They do mining and recycling, which is kind of interesting. Even more interesting is they get their trade and investment companies, and a lot of folks are going to say, well, all that metal, you know, the millions and millions and millions of ounces that Metalore is running through their company, from the mines to the scrappers like me, small scrappers like myself, across the country. Where does this metal go? And this leads back to the question I had earlier, that when I got an email from Metalore saying that they were increasing the amount of times that you're going to take to get your metal back, and that it was going to cost more, it made me think, wow, there's backup in silver refinery. What was strange to me is I'm not really seeing it here in South Florida, okay? I don't see a lot of capitulation. I don't see that much flatware being turned in, and that's where scrappers like myself, all right, are getting most of their scrappers like myself mostly get our silver from other dealers. We buy from antique dealers, we buy from other pawn shops, we buy from jewelers, and we buy from estates and stuff like that. That's where we get our scrap sterling and all that good stuff that we send to Metalore. But remember, and I kind of got confused with this for a second, and when I was talking to a representative at Metalore, who didn't give me any like company secrets or anything like that, but clued me in where this metal's going. And the fact is that a lot of this metal that I'm sending and a lot of the scrap they're seeing is still in the form of flatware and is still in the form of hollowware, and some more kilo bars and silver bars are coming in, whereas we didn't see a lot of that stuff being melted. But even more interesting, where it's coming from. And again, he also mentioned that a large amount of silver comes from mines out of Mexico. Didn't talk about Peru, but I'm sure Peru as well. But so a lot of the refining that's happening at Metalore is coming from silver is coming from Mexico. So I would imagine with higher silver prices, the mining companies, particularly after the virus and everything like that, they're up and running, and especially with higher silver prices, that we're starting to see a lot more mining metals come into Metalore. That's probably why we're having increased times in delivery dates or delivery times when our lots will be finished. You know, again, that's me as a small scrapper. So I'm assuming that's where a lot of the silver is, but I'm also told that there is a lot of again, flatware and stuff coming out of the woodwork. So that's where Metalore is getting their product. But where does Metalore sell their product? That's the kind of interesting thing that not many people are aware of. Well, banks, a lot of us think, okay, bullion and delivery bars and all that stuff. Well, screech, whoa. It's really, my understanding after speaking to this representative is that a very small percentage of the millions of ounces of gold and silver that go through Metalore are turned into bars or coins. You know where a vast majority of it turns into? Laboratory instrument. It's turned into chemicals and processes, renewable energy, silver alloys, and that's one of their biggest productions right there. Also grain. And again, I didn't realize this, but the Metalore, again, being one of the largest refiners in the world, and buy probably more gold and silver and scrap and refine more gold and silver and scrap than any corporation and country and entity out there, 70-80% of their sales is in silver alloy and silver grains and those type of things. When it comes to silver, gold's a little bit different, but when it comes to silver, most all of their stuff is in grains and solder. 70% plus, and probably more like 80% plus. maybe 10% is in bullion investments, bars and stuff, and probably not even that. A vast majority of it is granule and chemical process, is because they also they create chemicals and catalysts. So it's not going into investment, folks. All this silver that's being refined from, again, the largest company in the world is going into chemicals and catalysts and renewable energies and electrical materials and laboratory and instrumentation. And again, electronic industry, chemicals and compounds. Metal ore, their refining operation is such a small part of who they really are, okay? Their biggest part of their business is taking these metals that they're refining, especially silver, and turning it into things that manufacturers need for product. And where does a lot of this product go? Well, it goes all over the country. It goes to China. I mean, again, look, one of the largest exports of of gold was China. But I found that interesting. I hope you folks found this interesting as well. And if you want, do some more research on metal ore. Big giant company, but you don't hear much about them. You don't really read much about where a lot of this metal goes. And well, let's see, mines and I didn't even see that part. Let me see, mines and recyclers. Okay, yeah, they're talking about who they buy from, miners and recyclers and blah blah blah. All right, well, anyways, that's really about it. I'm going to get into something here real quick, which is our best deal section. By the way, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum in any form, we beat SD, APMEX, and JM, the big boys online, the guys that you want to beat, the big respectable guys. So if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, check us out at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're a brick and mortar, open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays, except probably this week. And hopefully we'll be open next week. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and you don't live in South Florida, and you can't visit our brick and mortar here at Commercial Rare Coins, and you're looking to buy larger amounts and you don't have a good local dealer, remember, I always recommend you guys find a good local dealer. You don't have a good local dealer, give us a call. Maybe we can help you out and ship you some gold, silver, and again, we'll beat APMEX, SD, and JM and the bullion guys online. We just don't have their fancy website like they do. However, you can talk to a real person rather than press a button and get personalized service from us. All right, let me give you what the best deals are out there right now, folks. And where is it? There's my spreadsheet. You know what I said? Instead of here, let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger, and perhaps I can. There we go. Increase the size of that. This is basically, don't pay more than the prices that I'm showing you here, and if you can get a better price, that's great. This is our bids and ask. Obviously, it says bid and ask, and these are the quantities. I'm going to start right here. On 1 ounce silvers, don't pay more than $1.79 over. Try to find something local, and if you can't, folks, give us a call. Maybe we can ship it in larger quantities. But if you live in South Florida, this is what we're charging for over 100 ounces of silver. $1.79 there, $4.75 on silver eagles. Maples, $3 over, and overstock, which means scratched up, or not scratched up, but imperfect 1 ounce rounds and bars and stuff that, again, SD and those guys have it. They usually price it about the same, and we try to match their price. 90% silver, 10 ounce bars. And in fact, folks, I don't need to go over this with you. Just kind of stop the screen here, and you can see our bids and ask on some of the more commonly traded products. And I can get on to what we're doing, and so can you here on your beautiful Sunday afternoon. Let me move back to, where are we? There we go. Go back to that, where we were. Oh, there we go. There's my big blank screen. And that's really about it, folks. I think I've got to go get the generator ready and maybe get some gas cans filled up and figure out what we're going to do. And that's about it for me. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and you can check me out here on X, used to be formerly Twitter. I post my videos up here, and also I post a lot of other things. I talk about politics. I talk with other guys in gold and silver. If you're not on X, I highly recommend it for many different reasons, folks. It's not the censored site that many sites out there are. And again, you can catch me in some more political stuff here as well and have some fun talking. We can have some fun talking with each other. All right, that's it. This is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, platinum, give us a call anytime between 10 and 4 Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out. Especially if you can't find a good local dealer and you're buying larger quantities, give me a call as well. Thanks, folks. Have yourself a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.